From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics. Proudly combating the thought police since 2016, here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. And today, we've got an urgent breaking news that has come from some investigating reporting that I have personally done. I read it on my phone, and I backed it up with other sources. There's a recall, so I need to save you from getting possible Salmonella or Listeria. Turns out that the same ingredients that you get at your Whole Food salads or your Trader Joe salads are the same ingredients found in some Walmart and 7-Eleven salads. And they have Salmonella and Listeria tainting in them. Here's just a small list of the things you don't want to put in your mouth. This is in addition to all of the other things that you should already know not to put in your mouth. I don't think I need to cover that entire list. But if you've purchased Walmart's Market Side Fiesta salad with steak, throw it away. If you've purchased 7-Eleven Bistro Style Southwest salad with bacon, throw it away. If you've got a Trader Joe's Mexicali inspired salad with chili seasoned chicken, do not put it in your mouth. If you went to Whole Foods and thought it was safe to buy their salad because you got a $3.65 market chicken fajita salad, do not put it in your mouth. Maybe throw it away. I guess you could package it and bring it back to Whole Foods and demand your money back, but that would require you to deal with the horrendous parking lot because there's so many people that want to be super elite and get the best of ingredients that you can't find anywhere else but Whole Foods, 7-Eleven, Walmart, and Trader Joe's, right? It's 2 weeks until Election Day, and the race is in a full, all-out, last-minute sprint to the finish line. Early voting has started in hotly contested states like Florida and Texas, and the turnout is groundbreaking. It's breaking records is what I'm trying to say. Turnout is record-breaking. Trump isn't even on the ballots, but he seems to be on the top of everybody's mind as they head to the booth or the mailbox that they're dropping their absentee ballot into. Months ago, everyone seemed to say that it was, going to be this giant blue wave, like the ice caps melting, blue water covering the whole U.S. We'll be drinking piss with Kevin Costner in our new blue water world. Well, now as Election Day draws nearer and nearer, it turns out the polls have tightened up. There's toss-ups all over the place, and every seat counts as these two parties battle for control of Congress. But as Election Day draws nearer and nearer, a growing amount of disinformation is getting published online to confuse or inflame or distract potential voters. So watch out for that fake news. I know that we said that we've purged and expunged and expelled all these fake accounts, but there's still a lot out there. So watch what you're reading. Double check everything that you got. Even double check me. I'm not saying that I'm infallible. I'm not purposely bringing you fake news, but why not do an extra double check before you share it? But share it. Anyways, Republicans and Democrats are delivering their closing arguments right now to midterm voters. Democrats are talking about health care and pre-existing conditions, while President Trump, and I can't help but say that he represents the Republican Party, so Republicans are out there stoking fear. Trump is on the campaign trail making up tax cuts. These tax cuts aren't even happening, but he's claiming them at rallies. He's threatening to release the U.S. military on a group of migrants that are thousands of miles from the U.S. at this time. And he's talking about California rioting over sanctuary cities. It's a culture war in the healthiest democratic state. Who's gonna win? We'll find out in 2 weeks. President Donald Trump's National Security Advisor John Bolton, a.k.a. Old Man Mustache, said on Monday in Moscow that he thinks Russians meddling in the 2000 U.S. election didn't have any effect on the outcome of the election. He warned Russian officials that, and this is my new John Bolton impersonation, I'm working on it, he said, from a very cold-blooded cost-benefit ratio, interfering in the American electoral process isn't worth the trouble. Pretty good, right? Bolton then went on to say that while he doesn't think the Russians were successful in impacting the election, they have been successful in sowing enormous distrust of Russia in the United States. Well, I agree with you there, John Bolton. And then he told them that they shouldn't meddle in our elections because they're not advancing Russian interests. And I'm hoping that this is a stern enough confrontation on the issue to put an end to it. So, Russia, are you going to stop? Bolton says to stop. Are you going to stop? Will it work? Is Putin going to stand down with his bots and stop hacking election machines? Well, Bolton's comments come days after U.S. intelligence and law enforcement agencies released a joint statement that said, identifying and preventing this interference is a top priority for the federal government. Putin is scheduled to meet with John Bolton today. This comes just after U.S. President Donald Trump said that he would ditch a Cold War-era nuclear arms treaty, to which Putin responded that the Russian government would be forced to take measures if the United States begins developing new missile systems. Now, this is off the record, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's... I'm pretty sure Russia just announced that they have hypersonic missiles that could be tipped with warheads. That in itself sounds like a violation of the treaty, but that's not to do with this story. You got to look that up yourself. That could just be conspiracy. The Intermediate Ranged Nuclear Forces Treaty, or the INF, was signed by the Soviet Union and the United States in 1987 during the final years of the Cold War. The Turkish President Erdogan today said that the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi was brutally killed in a premeditated scheme by the kingdom in Saudi Arabia. Khashoggi walked into an embassy in Turkey earlier this month to get a marriage license to marry his fiancée, but he never exited the consulate. The Saudi kingdom has offered different explanations in the days following the journalist's disappearance. Khashoggi was a known critic of the kingdom and lived half of his year in the United States. Erdogan said, covering up of this kind of savagery will hurt the conscience of all humanity. The most explosive allegations that have surfaced during the investigation is that there's a video of Khashoggi being killed and dismembered with a bone saw. Erdogan said that the investigation has proof that the Saudi team of 18 intelligence, security, and forensic workers worked diligently to plan and to carry out the murder of the journalist, which, pretty debunks the idea of it just being a fight gone awry. Erdogan highlighted attempts by Saudis to obstruct or cover up the killing. Who did these people receive orders from, he asked, stopping just short of blaming the 33-year-old Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Mike Pence also commented today, "The world is watching, the American people want answers." You might think that that means that this issue is one that's not dividing America and that everyone's on board to condemn the Saudis for this demonic crime. But yet there's one person that's not ready to condemn them. It's Trump. And I guess the Trump administration, but they're following his orders. The Trump administration regards the Crown Prince as one of the closest Arab allies and Saudi Arabia as a cornerstone of U.S. strategy to counter Iran. So he's not ready to create waves.